Just got to give you something to edit out. Can't possibly have it in one take.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll leave that in then.
How dare you?
Hello! And welcome to another
Van Chat Tuesday.
Oh yeah. And this one, it's a bit of a mixed bag of our experiences and experience that we've gained from other people's mistakes, maybe, I suppose you could call it.
Just other people's experiences in general, isn't it, really? We get questions asked a lot about this kind of thing too, so we thought it would be a very good topic.
Yes, or a series of topics.
Series of topics.
Yes. So, what are the top 5 van life mistakes?
Yes.
And in no particular order, the first one is basically an overweight van.
It's so easy to do.
We've obviously found difficult just trying to find places to get the van weighed without spending tons of money kind of stuff anyway.
You swore.
And it's therefore more difficult to make sure your van isn't overweight than you might expect.
Yeah.
Some of you might know somewhere and some of you might think, oh, there's just a place down the road from me. But in our experience, it's more difficult. And therefore, some of the mistakes that we have learnt or fixed, shall we say, is, say, for example, an our Ducato.
Yes.
When we pulled out the back of the van to make it into a fixed bed, we made some temporary kind of adjustments by using 3x2 wood and looking at all the other things people are doing to make a fixed bed. And then it literally lasted probably about 3 months and ripped it all out again and then used box aluminium and things like that.
Yeah.
And IKEA slats and all that kind of, how can we say, purpose-built, lightweight and sturdy kind of material.
Yeah, because I think at one point we were down to having less than 200 kilos payload, weren't we?
Yeah.
And that's impossible because that wasn't even with clothes and Cooper's stuff in there at that point. So that was ridiculous. But yeah, it's so easy to get an overweight van, especially when you're living in it.
Yes.
I think that even with this, when we first got sorted, it took us ages to find somewhere to get it weighed.
Yep.
And then when we did, we were like, okay, time to have another sort out.
Yes.
So it's definitely something that's difficult to keep an eye on.
Yeah, but a few things you can try is, like I say, tongue and groove. Whilst you can use it, try using the plastic cladding stuff. If you're using a structure to make a cupboard or a bed, use box aluminium. And if you are packing, pack light.
Yeah, and like, as far as the kitchen's concerned, I mean, for one point when we had the caravan, I used to take everything out of the kitchen in the house and put it in the van, and things were ridiculously heavy. Obviously, plates and pans and all sorts of things like that. The kettle, everything was really heavy. And I know it's money, but lightweight versions of everything, as you probably know already, are available. But we also had a clipboard with the caravan.
Clipboard whacker.
That had everything, how much everything weighed, because we knew what the base weight of the caravan was. So we'd tailor what we put in the van for each trip.
Yep.
And that just helped us keep on top of it as well. So if you've got the ability to swap things out and keep things, then it's nice to know how much everything weighs. I think just knowing how much everything weighs makes it so much easier to do the mental arithmetic as you're coming and going.
I mean, last June, July time, we were with Daz at Willow Fields, and he was getting to the point of getting fed up of getting stuck in fields and his van looking like the wrong way, like the back end was dragging on the floor. And he got one of those little things that you get like travel weigh scales where it's got a hook on it, and you pull it up and it tells you how much weight's on the hook. And he pulled out his van's contents, put it on a tarp outside his van.
Every single thing in his van.
And just got big ass bags and put things in there. The funniest things I remember was 21 kilos of DVDs. Never watches them. 13 kilos of mayonnaise.
Mayo. Oh, he does like his mayo.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes it just creeps up on you as to how much, and especially if you just add to things over time, it's definitely worthwhile checking periodically.
Yeah. The next little topic is you're using your van like your house. You might be running the tap while you brush your teeth and you're wasting litres of water. I mean, there's a study that says an average person might waste 15 litres of water brushing the teeth by leaving the tap running just a little trickle.
Yeah. It is. There's a load of things I think that make it different. So only having the heating on when you need it instead of having it on all the time.
Yeah, when you're cold, put the heating on, and when you're not cold anymore, turn it off.
Yeah. What else? It's mostly water, isn't it? Especially with showering as well. That we've always, even in the house, just because we had the tiniest hot water tank in the house, that they turn it on, wash yourself, turn it off, turn it on, dampen yourself,
Yeah.
turn it off while you're soaping up, and then turn it back on again, then turn it off, and so you're using hardly any water, because otherwise there is not enough hot water for 3 showers in that house.
Yeah.
So
What were you saying about the other day about there's a certain gas company that can't even give out bottles anymore because they've reached
it seems that there's a shortage of new 6 kilo Caligas bottles, or whichever that kind of bottle, that people are struggling to find them, because I think they're up to the contracted limit, or there is something, I'm not entirely too sure of the details, but there are people struggling to buy their first gas bottle when they buy their motorhome.
Yeah. So it's crazy times where you can't get LPG and you're struggling to get a gas bottle. The next one, which is not having enough power. The biggest thing with this is people not putting enough battery power in the van. So a lot of people, I'll say, is they've got a really big battery. I've put a 75 amp hour battery in a van. Really, in all fairness, if you're spending any longer than a weekend in your van, that's not enough. If you're doing off-grid. If you're a campsite person, always plugging in on power, then that's fine. If you're moving spots every day, therefore you've got a charger off your engine, you know, whether it's a B2B or a VSR, that's probably all right. But if you're like us and you like to stay places, you know, 3-4 days at a time, just to have a nice break, you don't plug in. What you need is a lot of battery power. Even if you don't have solar, you need a lot of battery power just so that you can actually sit there and charge things, have the lights on. If you are cold, you'll need the heating on. That takes battery power. So really think about what you're going to use your van for, and then maybe double up what you thought about the battery power. I've got plenty of videos about that, about how to scale it up and work out how to use and stuff, and I'll link to some of them in the video description down below.
Because we figured out that not only from what we found and what other people have also said, that
That's a lot of thunder.
that's thunder. Yeah.
Still
going.
thunder. Still thunder.
You all right, buddy?
Make sure Coop's okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, he's like, can you hear thunder a little bit?
He's getting better.
He is.
He is.
So,
Is that when they any motorhomes come from a dealer, be it used or new, that they're not kitted out for off-grid unless the
No.
person beforehand has whapped a load of solar on the roof.
most vans we're finding from a lot of people who are talking about they've just bought our new van and how can we do this, how can we do that, is they're supplied with a 75 amp hour battery and a big orange cable, and they go, there you go, that's how you sort yourself out in a campsite.
And at best, sometimes it's like 100-watt panel on the roof, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you're lucky, something
Yeah.
like that. So, so if you do want to spend any time in the beautiful off-grid places, I mean, like we've been travelling around at the minute with airs and pub stops and things where there hasn't been any battery back or any plug-in,
electric, yeah.
any electric, any shore power,
Sure power. Hook-up power, yeah.
hook-up power. That then yeah, having enough power to be able to sit on the days and watch telly and have your lights on, and like John said, have the heating on, because you still have to have your fans running, and you'll be surprised at all the little things that do use power in your van.
The next one is incorrect driving licenses, because if you're an old fart like me, you'll probably have a grandad rights license, which gives you the option of towing anything or driving anything up to 7.5 ton. If you're a whippersnapper like Mandy,
A whippersnapper.
or
then,
pass your test within a week of the wrong date.
yeah, I think it was the 1997. So check if you passed your test in 1997, which date it was, because the chances are, like me, you'll be restricted to 3.5 tons.
Yep.
Also, 3.5 ton on a train weight if you're towing a caravan.
Yes, so it's a really kind of probably very commonly overlooked issue. Someone will go out there and say, oh yeah, I've found a Luton or something like that. And what you might find is the Luton isn't 3.5 ton, it's maybe 5.5 ton or 4.25 ton. Or like John and Tash's van, they needed more payload really to carry all the stuff full time. So they've uploaded it to, is it
4,250 or something, yeah.
And our van was 3,850 and has been downplated, obviously, so Mandy can drive it.
Yep.
But the thing about all these different things is that unless you're aware of it and you're aware of your license type, you might actually be driving down the road illegally.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of motorhomes nowadays, they are given a pittance for payload just
Yeah.
so people can drive them on a license, because obviously the more people that pass a test after 1997 are going to be restricted a little bit more. Everything has the chance of upplating
Yes.
more often than not, even if it is just by another 350 kilos or
Yeah.
something. But that's where it gets into dangerous territory, and you've got the young whippersnappers like CJ
Yeah.
who've got the Ambo, and
Yeah,
he had to
do a
get his
HGV
HGV
license.
test on that
C1,
straight
I
away.
think it was, yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely check your license before you go out buying anything. We've found that a lot of motorhome sales places will check, but then there are still some that won't.
Yeah.
So
they didn't ask us when we bought this. There was a few things they didn't ask us about or check with us about when we bought this. So just
maybe
be wary
because you're
about
an
that.
old fart and they didn't even think to worry about it.
There's just no need for this. Whippersnapper.
I've not been called that for decades.
Yeah. And the last one, moving every day. It can be a massive pain in the bum, draw on your
It's really
mental,
stressful sometimes
stress
because
and that.
if you wake up in the morning and it's straight away, if you've not planned it out, you're thinking, right, where do we need to move to today, because that will dictate the rest of your day.
Yep.
How long it takes to get there and what you're doing. And some places like the Air in Canterbury, for instance, I said it right.
I've been saying
I
Cambridge.
was in Cambridge by mistake. The Air in Canterbury allows you to stay there for 48 hours maximum. So that's great. So you've got your 2 days there, and then you can figure out where you're going after that. But unless you start paying campsite prices to go on to somewhere where you can stay, it is a bit stressful to try and figure out something every day, and it exhausted you when we were in Spain.
There was that. And there's also been recently as well, if you're an avid viewer of our videos, the last probably 3 or 4 videos, you've heard us say, we're on stop 4 now for the day, because we've tried, and it's car park, wrong entrance type, no parking signs, or we're going to tow your van away if you park here,
or the place is full,
or the place is full, or there's too many vans there and we don't want to be a part of a big group of vans.
Because sometimes it's fine if you see like 5 vans there, but there's still extra room for everybody else. Then you leave it for the locals who might want to go walk the dogs or anything like that. So we're always mindful of that. So we don't want to be the person that fills the last spot. We'll move on and find somewhere different, and that can just be really taxing. And sometimes John's just like, right, we're going urban, and then we'll park up on the street, which is not ideal, and then we've got to find the right street, and so sometimes it can be
stressful, and it really unsettles me, I think.
Yeah.
So, for example, in our upcoming video around Dover, that was the 5th parking spot we arrived at.
Yeah.
It wasn't ideal, and it's certainly not a place I could stay for 2 days.
No.
It was just an overnight, and off we go again, find somewhere else. And it's something that you need to account for, really. It's not as easy as people make out to find a spot that you can stay at for a few days.
Yeah.
But it is worth the effort to make those kind of stops.
Yeah, and that's why we've got the Google Maps thing, and we live by it. And John, I'll be sat watching telly or playing games or catching up on emails, and I keep getting things from John where he said he's added to our little park up map, because he's just looking all the time for where we're going to be or anything. If anybody talks to him about it, we get lots of recommendations from subscribers. So we're always adding to this, just because that's the first place we look, because you never know if there's something that's already there.
So sorry about the rain, but that's come from the thunder. And if you've got any other experiences that you feel that you need to pass on to people, obviously we'd love to hear from you down below in the comments section. Give others your tried and tested little bits of advice about van life and things like that.
One thing we love about the comment section is we find an awful lot is that people will have really good conversations in there, that somebody will say something and somebody go, I didn't know that, I only live 2 miles down the road and I didn't know this, or absolutely I bought that same van and I've had this problem with it. And it's lovely, because it's great seeing people have a proper conversation. So please have a read through all the comments and see if there's anything that could possibly help you and add to it, because it's just like it's a resource. We're always looking back through our comments just to see. So if you do get like a random like from us after ages, if we've missed it or anything like that, it's because we are always looking through and rereading, because there's some good stuff in there.
Absolutely. We can't know everything, and it's because of you guys in the little community we've got going here that we can all work out this stuff. And that was a big flash of lightning, so expect thunder soon.
I might just jump in if I disappear suddenly.
There we go.
He's alright.
He's alright.
Oh, he's doing so well.
Oh, such a brave boy.
Oh, he is. We were outside before and it happened, and he was just like,
thunder, whatever.
That's alright. And he's not even got his thunder shirt on or anything. Oh, he's such a big boy.
We're talking about Cooper, if you don't know that place, by the way. There's furry Cooper down the back there.
Yeah, I'm surprised his head hasn't popped up over my head at the minute going, excuse me, hello.
Right, I think that's enough for this week on our little Van Chat Tuesday. If you are an avid watcher, our next video isn't going to be out on Friday. We're shifting to Sunday. We're going to see if we can play with the Google algorithms a little bit.
Yes.
Because it's giving us information that says that our videos might be better received on a Sunday. So we're going to see how that pans out.
Absolutely. And
More
if you
about
do-
that in... Oh, go on then.
You
And
carry
more about that in Sunday's video.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You
I
were
was
going
going to do a
something.
spoiler. I was
Yeah.
going to spoil it for Sunday's video,
There
but
we
yeah,
go.
more about that in Sunday's video.
Cool. What you like. Right, and guys, take care.
Yep. See you soon. Bye.